With the NBA play-in and playoffs finally set after a long regular season, we are in store for a very exciting and monumental NBA playoff, and I can't wait to watch some of these matchups. There's a lot of reasons why I'm very excited to see these playoffs, and I think a lot of other people would like to agree with that statement. And the biggest one just being there's no clear favorite this year. As in past years, there have been overpowered super teams back in 2017 with the Warriors, and just teams that have been pretty clear favorites. But really, this playoffs is very open. There's a lot of good, talented favorite teams per se, like the Bucks and the Nuggets, who are the 1 seeds in each respective conferences. But there's also a lot of dark horse teams like the Lakers, the Kings, the Cavaliers, and the Knicks, who are all teams who could surprise everyone and make pretty deep runs in this playoffs, I believe. And I think a lot of other people will believe that as well. These are teams that aren't favorites like the Bucks or the Nuggets, but are teams that have enough power and have enough fit on their team, which I believe is even more important than having a lot of star power is having fit. And we've seen it time and time again with a lot of these super teams who are very star heavy fail, and a lot of teams who have great fit succeed in playoff games and 7-game series. And I really like the Cavs fits. I like the Knicks fits. Same with the Kings. They're all teams that play and gel together. Even the Lakers now after the trade deadline. And that's why I'm really excited. Having those dark horse teams and no clear favorite, it's going to be really exciting to watch every playoff match, knowing that pretty much every team in this playoffs has a good chance of making a push or even going after this title. Not only are this playoffs with no clear favorites making it very exciting, but also just some of the awesome and great matchups that we have in this first round. 2 matchups in particular, or one matchup and one potential matchup, being the Lakers and the Grizzlies, and the Cavs and the Knicks are really going to be some awesome series. Hopefully everyone can stay healthy, because if both teams stay healthy in the Cavs and Knicks, that being Jalen Brunson versus the guard duo of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, we're going to be in for a very, very intense series. I really like the Cavs team as a fit. Obviously, Mitchell has that star power and can go off for 40 every night. And if he gets going, we've seen what he can do against the Utah Jazz in the bubble. I know it's a little different, but if he gets going in a 7-game series like that, that's going to be insanely hard to stop. But same could go for Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson. They've both gone on runs this year that have been spectacular and averaging close to 30 points a game during those runs. That's really insane to watch. And players like Evan Mobley and Emmanuel Quickley are guys that can be X factors in this series and really point out some of the weaknesses of the other team. Quickley, he has great guard play, obviously. And then same with Mobley, just really getting more of an opportunity here, as in a 7-game series, the Knicks will probably key in on Mitchell and even Garland. But Mobley might have a good matchup with Randle. Randle not being the best defender, he might be able to step up in this series and be the X factor and be the difference maker for the New York Knicks. The other series, the Lakers and the Grizzlies. Now, this hasn't set up yet, but it's looking like with all the controversy going on in Minnesota and Rudy Gobert not playing against the Lakers in the play-in game, looks like they're probably going to win and end up matching up with the Memphis Grizzlies, which I think will be an awesome matchup as well. We already know how intense things can get playing against the Memphis Grizzlies and their cockiness and Dylan Brooks and all that whole story. But overall, they're a great team, right? Steven Adams is out for that series. So who's going to guard Anthony Davis in that series, right? Jaren Jackson Jr., great defensive year, but the one knock on him has been staying out of foul trouble. Can he stay out of foul trouble? I don't know. He's always seemed to get in foul trouble when he plays against the Lakers or any other team. And if you don't stop AD, this Lakers team is going to be tough to stop, and obviously any team with LeBron in a 7-game series is going to be insanely hard to beat, and I think that's going to be a great matchup to watch, so I'm very excited to that. And lastly, why I'm so excited for this playoffs, it's just, as I said earlier, those X-Factor players, watching players step up, Austin Reeves, Emmanuel Quickley, Evan Mobley, like I said, those guys before, they could be X-Factors in series and really turn the tide, and you really see what some players are made of, right? You don't get to see a lot of them step up too much in the regular season, but they could step up in the playoffs when it matters the most. And you really get to see, as I said, what these players are made of and what they can do. And I really love that in the playoffs. It really brings out the best in a lot of players. Now, in terms of actually who I have winning the play-in and my play-in predictions, for the Western Conference starting out first, In the first game, the Lakers versus Timberwolves, I have the Lakers winning. They've been really good after the trade deadline. Defensively, exceptional, and they just changed the whole team, and they fit very well together. They're a very good team now, completely different from before the trade deadline and after. And they're playing a Timberwolves team who really just kind of threw away their season in one day, as the altercation between Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson, where Rudy Gobert punched Kyle Anderson. They have some big chemistry issues, and then Jaden McDaniels, their best perimeter defender, punches a wall in frustration, fractures his hand, which is very unfortunate to them. So I don't see them winning, and I see the Lakers moving on to the 7th seed and playing the Memphis Grizzlies. For the other game out west between the Pelicans and the Thunder, I do have the Pelicans winning that game because of the play of Brandon Ingram. He's been really, really good offensively. He's been very underrated, doesn't get enough attention at all in the league, and he's putting together a great stretch, scoring the ball on all 3 levels and just dominating, really. He's a really great scorer offensively, and I think that team fits very well together with Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum. I mean, they just Trey Murphy. They have a lot of good guys, good role players, and I think that they are going to win over the Thunder. As the Thunder, they have Shea. He'll probably get his. And they're a good team, good up-and-coming young team. Better watch out for them in the future. But I think right now that's what they are. They're just young, and I think that they're not deep enough to beat that Pelicans team. And then in the next game, I do have the Pelicans beating the Timberwolves. Again, for the same reasons I said in the beginning, the Timberwolves are a mess right now. Let's face it. They're just a complete mess, and I have the Pelicans going into the 8th seed to play the 1 seed Denver Nuggets. So let's head out east now. And we have the Heat versus the Hawks, and I believe the Heat will win against the Hawks. Jimmy Butler, you know how Jimmy Butler plays in the playoffs. We had that stretch in the bubble. But when it's time to play, Jimmy Butler comes to play, and he is elite. He's a superstar player in the playoffs. He's shown us time and time again, and I think that is just going to push them ahead against the Hawks. The Hawks are very streaky, off and on. You don't know what you're going to get from Trae Young. The experiment with him and DeJounte Murray really hasn't worked out too well. So I have the Heat in that 7 seed. And for the final play-in series here, I actually have the Bulls, who just squeaked into the play-in spot, beating the Raptors and the Hawks in both games. They've been playing extremely well. They've been looking very good defensively, again, surprisingly, without Lonzo Ball. Alex Caruso being back and healthy does make that obviously extremely valuable. But they've been playing well, and Zach LaVine's been playing very well as well. That's a lot of wells I just said, but he's been playing very good. And Vucevic has stepped up a lot too. And I just think that they're going to beat a Raptors team that right now, I think they're a solid team, but they just got to figure it all out. And they could very well win. I think this is kind of the iffiest prediction that I have here for sure, because the Raptors are a good team with Siakam, Barnes, Van Vliet, Gary Trent Jr. They have a lot of good players. They're a solid team, but I just don't think that right now they're putting it all together. And I think that's going to take them out of this game here. And I think that the Bulls will end up beating the Hawks as well for the same reasons that I said before. And that's pretty much it, man. I'm very excited to watch this playoffs. I hope you guys are as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who's your team that you think is going to win? Who's a dark horse team? I'm very excited, as I said. I'm looking forward to it. Please like the video and subscribe if you did make it this far. I do appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.